Hi, this is Will Phototech, and I am back with multiple news updates and rumors. This is gonna be a long video because I'm gonna jump into multiple. I'm gonna tell you one news piece, and then explain my thoughts on it, and then tell you another news piece and explain my thoughts on it, and so on and so forth. You get the general idea. But Super Metal Dave has gone into hiding, and a lot of new information coming from other sources point to Super Metal Dave being very, very correct about about some information he has given, unless Nintendo's trolling the crap out of us with Super Metal Dave. But that's a whole nother thing here. So one of his last two videos, one was on Legend of Zelda coming to the Nintendo NX. The next one, I'm pointing at Twilight Princess because this is illustrating the concept. It's going to be a dual release between the Wii U and the NX version, and the Wii U version will come out first, and then the NX version will come out either on the same day or within 6 months of the Wii U version. So, if I said it correctly, the Wii U version will come out first, and then from that day, 6 months on, the NX version should come out. And a lot of people are saying on the internet, I'm just going to jump over to the NX version, I'm going to ignore the Wii U version. Well, here's a very important point. Remember, do the vast majority of Nintendo fans believe the GameCube version is the superior version of Twilight Princess. And really, it is actually the best version of the two, because the controls work awesome with it, and the graphics are just as good as the Wii version, and Link is left-handed, and so many other things. So, fair to say, there's a very good chance, since the next Zelda game is originally made for the Nintendo Wii U, it's going to be the better version. Overall, I say, like, is probably the most polished version. It is probably the version that is the most natural or organic to the game design. Uh, what would happen is, if they are transferring it over to the NX, they might have to adjust a few things here and there, which will throw off the balance. Personally, I've always been a fan of the buttons as opposed to the waggle controls, but yet again, unlike so many other people who complain and bitch, when the waggle controls are well integrated into the game, I really enjoy that. Uh, I really enjoyed Super Mario Galaxy. That worked out very well. The nunchuck and the Wiimote. If you play those games long enough, you will eventually kind of no longer be mildly annoyed. It will merge into you, and you will just play, and you will enjoy it, and it will transition very quickly and cleanly. And there's a lot of people who enjoy the classic controller plus not nunchuck, the classic controller Wiimote combo for Splatoon. So I say, a lot of people say they're really thinking of jumping to the NX. No, really, you're probably best enjoyed if you play both versions of the game. The Wii U version is probably going to be the most natural feeling version of the game, and the NX version is going to have several features and some graphical touch-ups, but it's not going to be vastly superior of the vastly superior playable, enjoyable version of the game. There's going to be some trade-off. Now here's the second. Oh, sorry. Backhand. offensive to some people. Front end, not so offensive. Uh, but here's the next little bit of rumor. This just came out recently. This is from a guy named Geno. Clearly, he gets his name from the character from Super Mario RPG. And there's this really good article on dual pixels. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to read a good part of it. Dual Pixels is a pretty good website to go to for various pieces of information. And this guy has a really good history of being very on the ball with this information. He predicted that the Pokemon is going to shift to a 3D model when it did. He predicted so many other little details in games. And so they pulled this whole put this whole thing together of various features that the Nintendo NX will have. The first one is it will have it has a wireless HDMI dongle that attaches flush to the back of the device. A user can pull it out and insert it into a display with normal sized HDMI output, and the device uses an evolved version of the Wii U streaming tech to display HD to TV screen. So basically, either the system or the controller, this is either the it's hard to say, this could be the showing you the rare PS Vita. Uh, it could be quite possible that the Nintendo NX portable unit, they could be talking about the Nintendo NX portable unit, but they could also be talking about the home console unit. But if they were talking about the home console unit, they might as well have a cable. That would be much better transmission speed than a dongle, because the connection point between the system, where it plugs into the HDMI dongle would plug into the HDMI, that would limit the throughput of the system. So there will be no point to have a cable. There will be no point to have a wireless connection between a home console system and the TV, unless you want to put them like 20 feet apart from each other. But the connection on the back of the HDMI connection would limit the throughput. So there will be no gain other than the flexibility of placing your system great distances apart. So what they are most likely pointing at is the handheld unit, where if you have like your I pulled out my PS Vita, I'm going to pull out my 3DS. They're going to most likely have a pop out dongle, kind of like on a wireless mouse, like a USB dongle. Pop it out, plug it into your TV, and play between your handheld and the TV. And that would make an insane amount of sense. And then that would bring into question, why would you need a home console version of the NX unless the home console version is vastly more powerful than the handheld, substantially more powerful than the handheld version. So that's something to think about. Uh, as I said before, if it was the home console version, a dongle wouldn't be that much of a gain. It would be nice for taking your system and putting it 20 feet away from the screen TV and playing it that way, but you would still have to plug your console right into a power outlet, most likely. Also, it states that it's using an evolved version of the Wii U streaming tech to display HD to TV screen. So for your knowledge, HD is considered 720p to 1080i. Full HD is 1080p. Now, very few places actually put into the effort to actually denote full HD versus HD. They usually just merge the 2 points together. So we really don't have to read too much into that. They could be 1080p and they just simply leave off the full part to save letters and time. Uh, On to the second bit of information. Allegedly, the analog controls movement has a small motors in them for haptic feedback, meaning if you control a character and it hits a wall, the sticks will move away from the direction of the wall, and simulate like running headfirst into a wall. This can also be used to jerk when firing a gun, taking damage, moving over rough terrain, etc. So basically, this idea basically states that when you're playing and when you push the button, controller stick, and you hit a wall, there's a little motor that will push back against you as you make contact with the wall. So you have a physical contact force or real-time feedback. Say like if you're walking up a hill and you're pushing forward, as the hill increases in angle, the control stick will increase in resistance to being pushed. And that would be just if they did that with the control sticks and they did that with the buttons and did that with a bunch of whole other things. And there's, as I said before, there was in a previous video there was patents for rollable, clickable shoulder buttons for the NX in various patents. It's not 100% sure whether that's actually NX, but so in other words, it basically means that when you're running around doing anything, the controller, the buttons, the buttons or the sticks will give you feedback to the force or impact in which you are moving across terrain or into terrain, in the case of running into a wall. So that is very interesting. So if you're playing a game on your big screen and you're running along and you bounce off a sign or something, the stick will push back or kick into your thumb. Hopefully not severely, and you will visually see the impact, and you will have a physical indicator of the impact with the stick kicking back into you. They probably also have a rumble feature built in, so it shakes, it pushes back against the stick, pushes back against your thumb, and it would immerse you further into the game more so. Even better if they had better speakers in the handheld unit and you had an excellent surround sound system, then you'd really just be going insane with immersion. There's also side point. There is also a slight rumor that Nintendo is looking into VR technology. This is not in the article, but is quite probable. I am of the mindset that Nintendo is probably actually going to focus more on AR technology, similar to like Microsoft's HoloLens. And that actually comes up later in this article. So on to part 3. This is from the article. It can literally Bluetooth sync with everything, especially smartphones, tablets, to the point where one feature is that it answers phone calls, displays text messages from your phone onto the screen itself, so you don't have to stop and answer your smart device. It Bluetooth syncs to pretty much everything. The PS Vita has Bluetooth. So the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360 in the later models, Xbox One has Bluetooth, headsets, speakers. So you could Bluetooth sync your Nintendo NX unit. Good chance that it's the handheld and the console to your Bluetooth devices. Pump music through them, answer your phone calls through them, possibly watch video, possibly do text messages. You're playing a video game on your home NX console. your friend text messages you, the message pops up on the screen of your TV, and you can hit a button or talk back to the system, and it will respond to that person. The system will send the text message to your phone through Bluetooth, and your phone will send it out. So that is really neat. Also, literally Bluetooth syncs with everything. The PlayStation controllers, PlayStation 3 and 4 controllers use Bluetooth technology. So there's a also with the Xbox 360 and Xbox One controllers use Bluetooth technology. So if you have the console version, you could use your Xbox 360 controllers. Something to think about there. Okay, on to number 4. The closest in terms of power it gets is to the Xbox One, but an app idea is the Wii U is the NX is 50 times more powerful than the Wii U, and PlayStation Vita is 100 times more powerful than the PlayStation Vita. The key is that all the tech they combine with the OS's strong emulation function and compiler means that any game that can run on a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One easily run on an NX with near zero modification to the original source code, except if it runs on Android OS or Unreal 4 engine. This is allegedly why Nintendo has given out dev kits so late. As one third-party dev puts it, the easiest device we've ever developed for. You just take your code, compile it, and it works. The first chunk of this is just weird. The closest in terms of power it gets is to the Xbox One. The NX is 50 times more powerful than the Wii U, and it's also 100 times more powerful than the PlayStation Vita. So if we're talking about a handheld unit, imagine a handheld gaming system on par with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. But it's 50 times more powerful than the Wii U, and it's 100 times more powerful than the PlayStation Vita. I don't exactly know where the Wii U fits compared to the Xbox One and the PS4 in processing power. The Wii U is about 25 to 50% more powerful than the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, approximately. Also, as it states further on, exactly the same hardware. Oh yeah, I think I skipped over that point. I don't know. The key is that all the tech is exactly the same hardware layout as the PS4 and Xbox One. So, hardware layout. So if this is not a handheld. If it's a home console, looks like a VCR from the 1990s or 1980s. With a hard drive, with a CD drive, not a CD drive, but a Blu-ray or other high quality disc drive. That exact same hardware layout. That would make no sense for a handheld, and it would make sense for the home console version, but that would also conflict with the rumors that Nintendo is actually abandoning disk drives and going back to cartridge. Exact. And then it also goes into the next part is that the OS has strong emulation functions and compiler means that any game can run on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One can easily run on the NX with near zero modification to the original source code. And then they also reference Android OS and Unreal 4 engine. Unreal Engine 4. Okay, so this system has a lot of emulation tech in it. So quite possibly that this is going to be tied to another part of there was a patent Nintendo stated had where there was a strong online download distribution system tied to a new platform. So basically this thing will have the most robust virtual console offering of all the Nintendo systems, and that would make just so much sense right there because Nintendo's history is its biggest weapon against Sony and Microsoft. Also, this system is in the power range of the PS4 and the Xbox One, and it has features that make it easy to port Android OS games over to it and Unreal Engine 4 games to it, and with very little modification, get them up and running on the system. Very fascinating in itself. Okay, this is more into it. Here's part 5. Look to Pokemon Go to get an idea of the type of the social features that will be in the NX. That will take multiplayer AR and Street Pass concept to a whole new level. So, yeah, when we learn more about Pokemon Go, we're going to get a better idea about the NX. Also, yet again, it states, as I said before, AR. Nintendo has been moving more and more in towards AR, or augmented reality area, recently. So, they've always been a big fan of AR. So, there's also another patent and a set of rumors swirled around that both the handheld NX unit will have lots of AR features built into it, and so will the home console will have a lot of AR features built into it. So, yeah, that is interesting enough. This is part 6, which is 6. You know basic sign language, you know what I'm meaning. Uh, the real strength of the device is the usability and ease of developers to have described to me more than once that the visually and functionally looks as. So, developers state that it is like as if a Samsung smartphone and a Nintendo 2DS had a baby. So we're talking about the handheld. We're talking about the handheld system, and it looks like it's a cross between a Samsung smartphone, a high-end one, and a Nintendo 2DS. And it looks friendly, but unlike the most people visualize a Nintendo device, the typical look, the operating system named Nintendo OS alone is very powerful, as so many modern features of mobile operating systems today. Nintendo's trying to be very careful in showing it off to then fear that okay, this actually ties into another set of rumors here, or that came back. If you remember, uh, I will actually come back. I'll come back to this part 6, but a long time back, I'm actually gonna merge it into this. But A long time back, there was a rumor that the Nintendo NX is going to run on Android. However, this statement right here states that it is not running on Android, but it takes very strong cues, design features, and philosophy from the Android OS and Nintendoizes them. So if you have a Android smartphone, you are playing with something that is going to give you a good general idea of what the Nintendo NX is going to be like. So I'm using my Android smartphone right now. Take out your Android smartphone. Imagine like a Nintendo 2D. This is the home handheld console. Imagine the Nintendo 2DS. This is a 3DS, but imagine a 2DS with a hybrid of the Nintendo OS with the Wii U and Android, sort of a hybrid looking OS with very similar features, with a lot of the same components, and and the new Nintendo OS looks so similar to Android you could mistake it for Android. So Nintendo basically learned from Nintendo's moving into the mobile game here, and they basically in the process of developing new mobile games for smartphones and tablets learned something about where the market and everyone is going, so they are making their handheld more like a smartphone or a mobile or a tablet. Okay. So sorry about that whole brain fart around in the circle thing here. So Nintendo basically, in the process of going into mobile development, learned about new concepts and then now is integrating those concepts into their new consoles. See, this is what Nintendo. This is one of those things that it's really exciting because this means Nintendo is learning. Nintendo is not simply just coming up with their own version of coming up with an idea and just building on it like they used to, but they are actually looking at something else like Android smartphones and tablets, and then they are taking pieces out of the idea, taking ideas from that and building something new for a new world. So, uh, yeah, that is just amazing. All right. I believe that is it right now. Also, here's a clue about my first video game review. Uh, totally something else. Uh, Gojira. Okay, that is the clue. That is a clue for my first video game review. So, Gojira. Thank you very much. If what you think of my video, I'm sorry if I like rambled off repeatedly into weird little corners, but that's just how I am. Okay, I will work on it. Uh, have a wonderful day. Don't forget to comment and vote and share the video. Stay awesome. I'm waiting until it hits 30. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Shuffle. God. I'm going after, I'm trying to train up for Mega Charizard X. So, I kind of gave up trying to catch Alakazam, so, see ya.